Oh, yeah, okay. You're at that don't care preview. And you got me right as I got the Tic Tacs in my mouth. It's a fruit adventure. They're sponsoring this show as I'm having a fruit adventure. Anyway, Kid Nate, out of pocket, filling in. Dallas, let me tell you about that guy. Say hello, Dallas.
Hello.
Ah, man, I missed you. It's been a long time. You don't know what I've had to put up with that Nate character. This guy.
I got a good idea.
And mispronouncing words, making bad picks. You know, all the basics.
Just this fine morn, he done sabotaged our hangout already, and he's not even here.
Sabotaging. And you know what? I still have a question. People were asking here, and I just got to pass it along to you. How can a guy who doesn't work go on vacation?
I know, right? Like, he's getting too tired of sitting at home on his laptop telling people what to do. Yeah, it's too hard on him.
Hey, man, you leave, people talk shit about you. So anyway, I got to give the disclaimer, and the disclaimer is crybabies and bedwetters. This has less to do with your skills and talents as a fighter, specifically the Care No Care preview, and much more to do with the marketing heft and weight that Zuffa and the Bald One put behind you. You don't like being on a don't care list? Fight an interesting fight like Paul Felder, Chris Colliard-Greens, or Bok Choy, or Superboy, and it's possible. You can go from don't care to care, but until then, don't come crying to us. And this is about UFC 202 specifically. And for those who are unclear on what don't care means, this means that we're going to go through without a lot of deep diving, like a casual fan, and rank these things on the basis of, total market value and interest to the casual fan. If you want more insightful, incisive stuff, go to the vivisection. But this is not that. Punks.
Bitches.
Bitches.
It's the whole reason Nate brought me on right there. He's like, just say bitches.
Well, we can do it because, see, the Japanese cat who just did that everybody thought was so cute, that got me so pissed off, he was actually talking about women. When I'm talking about bitches, I'm talking about every bit of humanity that's not me.
Why'd that piss you off? Like disrespect to women kind of thing?
Nah, man, I hate to see this Western distillate of like the worst elements of fucking American culture, kind of, through the eyes. Look, the French like Jerry Lewis. Okay, I can forgive that. The Japanese went to fucking Disneyland. I can forgive that. But these hip hop memes, I don't think that shit's fucking cute. I don't think it's fucking cute at all. And it's got nothing to do with me having 3 daughters. I just think it would be wearisome if an American guy did it. It's just fucking wearisome to have a jack. It's cute because he's got a funny accent, I prefer David. Huh?
His enthusiasm is kind of what won it over for me.
Could have been, but I prefer the David Duke fucking line of attack. It's like, it's not so much that I hate Jews, but I love Hitler. What? Hey, you know what? Fuck it, man. Bald face. Go ahead, give it to me.
I think your disclaimer captured the essence of that David Duke POV pretty well. Like, hey, it's not that I don't want to offend, buddy. It's just you're all bitches.
Yeah.
And actually, this is kind of good for me because I am as far away from MMA as I ever have been since I started watching it. So I'm straight up casual.
Beautiful. So that means, are you sitting in front of a computer that will allow you to generate a list of the fights on the card without crashing your entire system?
Well, my friend, my computer has already generated said list. I'm peering upon it as we speak.
That's a nice backpack, man. I'm sorry. Sorrell's got a really nice backpack. How much did that cost you? $200. Really?
$200? Have Leo dangle that shit in front of the camera. $200 backpack. What is it, Gucci?
No, it's a Patagonia. It's really fucking nice, man. How does this guy get nice shit like this? My backpack looks nothing like this.
Damn.
This is kind of light. Fuck. I saw a backpack the other day because I need a new one for $475. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Does that come with a free TV?
I want it to come with free sex acts, man. The person who sells it to you is like, it's like a prostitution scam. Fuck. Who gave that to you? Where'd you get the money to buy that?
He's Leo Serrano, man.
Yeah, there you go. Rich. He's rich. He's got a helipad in Brazil. I've seen pictures of it, man, and servants. Anyway, all right, so let's go through the list. Let's do it.
All right, I'm tempted to pin you down a little more on that helipad thing, but all right,
I'll put pictures up of him and his father on the helipad.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to run through this?
Yeah, let's do it. You start because you're looking at a screen. So.
All right, so first up, Alberto Uda versus Marvin Vettori.
Don't care.
Who dem ninjas?
Do not give a fuck.
Colby Covington versus Max Griffin.
I care because of Colby, because he's been the butt of a joke on many a past show, like Ted Olivier Devazine Jr. III, or Richie Rich, or Colby Covington, the young upstart from Long Island, from the Hamptons. But that's not really enough to care, is it? Because I've gotten a lot of mileage out of that joke already.
Yeah, and I didn't understand half. Richie Rich I got. But no, Colby Covington's all right. Is his opponent really 0-0, Max Griffin?
Yeah, which is exactly why this is a gimme for Covington, and you know, he stands as an equal chance of winning as of losing, I think, maybe, but I can't say I give a fuck. I like making fun of Colby Covington's name, but this is not enough for me to care about a fight, especially when he's essentially a welcome match to some guy who has not fought in the UFC before. I'm sure there's some wag in the comment section who goes, "Oh, Griffin is that famous guy. How could you miss Griffin? He's
Everybody knows. People who know about this cat.
Exactly.
Gym stories. You always have
you know
that.
I don't.
Every once in a while they're right though, and that's fine. I'll willingly eat crow. You know, if
is that Martin Short character where he goes, "I don't know you, I don't know your work, but I think you're a genius."
All right, so this is a definite care for me. Lorenz Larkin versus Neil Magny, top of the Fight Pass. So they're stacking up the main event of Fight Pass. Is that a new thing?
Sort of at the end. Yeah, they typically seems like they've been doing that.
So they made that change, and also now they actually give the guys, they let them cut a little promo for them.
Yeah, that's right. Good for you. That is true. Yeah,
and I like that. I mean, right off the bat, I'm not going to say it's going to like move me, you know, deeply, but Fight Pass before had a real pedestrian, let's get this shit out of the way, and at least now, I mean, it gives it. If I was a Fight Pass, you know, fighter, I would like some of the changes they're making.
I would like to think that this is a result of William Morris ownership saying to them, you know what, Ultimate Fighter TV show is not going to last forever. You have to have a structure and a mechanism in place to create tomorrow's stars today. And you know, how are these guys going to be allowed to be stars? You know, essentially 15 minutes in the cage is not going to be enough always to do it. You got to have an accelerator. And if the accelerator means you do a 5-minute package, do it. It's not that much money. You know?
Right. You know, it's the UFC. It's the Super Bowl of MMA. You know what I mean? Even if they're Fight Pass, you can throw together a little promo for them. And actually, everything the UFC has been doing, I respect a little bit more as far as their marketing and promos. Because before, I used to like pride shit. I didn't even understand half of it. You know, some of it was trippy, but I liked it. You know, it was creative. It wasn't two dudes with, you know, holding their gloves up.
Yeah.
I mean, I swear to God, 95% of every UFC poster, who's the creative director for that shit? He's like, I know. Let's have these two dudes with their shirts off, holding their, you know. So I think they've been doing a little bit better with that.
Well, you know, but then again, this is institutional unhealth to make up a word. I mean, you don't hire the top flight designer because you don't want anybody to question your fucking mediocre design decisions. You know, if you were to take a hot shit like an award-winning SPs, right, the Society of Professional SPDs, Society of Professional Designers, and you were to hire an award-winning SPD person and give them the UFC contract, I guarantee you the first thing they design, the fucking ball to kick it back and go, what the fuck are you doing? Because suddenly it's not about design for him. It's about establishing dominance. And I have to say, in this instance, he would be right. Because it's like, look, I got the ship here. You're going to have to listen to me a little bit. So at the very least, you would have to have some kind of melding of the minds. And you'd have to have a designer who could say to him, it would be a little, we could look at this alternative treatment and tell me if this doesn't meet your business objectives. And that maybe could work with it. So then he could turn around and go, I've issued a new design. I pushed it. You know, you got to give dude ownership, man. That's the mafia way. You know?
Let him put his stamp on it and all that. But they've been doing all right.
You know,
it took a while.
I've had bosses who have said shit that I just said and put their name on it.
Oh yeah.
Like, man, when I walked through that door, I understood that was a deal. So, but anyway, yeah, I think William Morris will definitely know.
All right, up
No,
next.
first of all, so we care. So
Yeah, for sure.
who's your pick?
Are we picking two?
Yeah, we're doing picks, man.
Larkin and Magny. I might go with Larkin here, and I don't know why I've always been really high on him, and it's impossible not to like Neil Magny or respect that dude. So I don't feel strongly about it, but it's mostly I'd like to see Larkin win. Dude's crazy talented.
Okay, well, we got some action here because I'm picking Magny.
All right. What happens? What's on the line here?
Well, there had been a comment to this Smirk guy who had been keeping track of the win-loss record just to torment Nate. And
I was going to say, Nate never likes that when anyone keeps track of anything he says.
Nah, especially since consistently I was like at 56%, and then Nate was like at 51, and I was like lording it over him. He didn't like that, so which filled me with great delight. So,
right.
So that's all that's at stake.
All right, so that's it for the Fight Pass card. 3 fights. That starts at 6:30. Then we move over to Fox Sports 1s for the prelim, 8 o'clock Eastern. First up, Courtney Casey versus Randa Markos. I don't know why, but I like Randa Markos. She's very likable.
So I
care.
So you care?
Yeah, for this one, Randa. She's worth it. She's worth
it. I care as well. She's got a good story. She's, in my mind, underperformed when I expect her to overperform, but I'm pulling for her as well.
I would agree with all that. And I think she trains in Michigan. So I'm from Michigan, and we've always been way behind the curve, but Michigan top team or whatever. So that was nice to see. Yeah, I don't know. She's cute. There's something real likable about her, and she's tough as nails. You know, that's the combo. You can't just be
I like the backstory is cool too.
Right. Yeah, she's a good girl. Up next, Chris Avila versus Artem Lobov.
Oh, I almost want to care because of Lobov.
Yeah, I'm not sure why, man, but he kind of let me down for some reason recently.
Who was that? That was a great old Black Flag song. You let me down.
Oh, yeah. Rollins.
Man, who has relationships like that? Those guys put out 4 records and shit like that. Man, I'm putting out 1 record. You let me down, and after that, the second record is I wised up.
I don't know. I was actually bullshitting with someone about that the other day. You know, like the band Tool, everyone was into that. I love Maynard. They're solid, but Maynard's probably, I think, my favorite lyricist and songwriter. But their shit has never really changed. And I think that they've kept that hardcore fan base, but there's a bunch of other bands. I'd say 80% of the other bands I like their first album, maybe their second one, and after that, they did some weird shit, and they lost me.
Well, I was thinking the other day, I was talking to somebody, the number of bands that have 5 good records out of them, really, surprisingly, incredibly low. Even bands that turn out, they're like the Delmore Schwartzes of music. So you get like 1 or 2 great records, nothing.
And I'd be interested what percentage of those bands had a significant or distinct change in their style, and how many, what percentage of them just kept with some form of their original foundation of music.
Well, as a band that has more than 5 great records out in Oxbow, I can tell you we essentially just made the same record again and again because we're trying to, we're not driven by the marketplace because the marketplace doesn't give a fuck about us. See, we're trying to say this. It's like a guy standing up. What a rogue and peasant slave am I? Nah, that's not right. What a rogue and peasant slave. No. What a rogue and peasant slave am I? So we've essentially tried to get the right intonations for every fucking record. So.
Yeah, just random thing I just noticed. One thing I love about your style is your proclamations. You always get this, and anytime anyone does this, I listen a hell of a lot more than we're just talking. Like that's one of those good.
That's the Mussolini in me,
Right. Or Luke Thomas has that subtle thing where before he makes a comment, he's always like, "All right, listen to me," and then like, "Well, yeah, that's the whole point of the show."
Oh, he was on If I Did It yesterday, man. You missed it. It was great. The favorite part of the show was the last 20 seconds. It was like, "Hey, Luke, well, why don't you have me on your show ever?" And it was like, cue the clown music. Wah, wah, wah. I don't accept call-ins, Eugene. Click. Boom.
Yeah. He's big.
It was great. I would have called it now that I got his number. I was gonna keep calling him. Luke. I was like, "Let's go, champ. Get me on the show. Let's go."
Yeah. All right. So, hey, back to Oxbow. Did I stumble across some shit where you guys are shooting a video in London?
No, the director is landing in a few hours. Actually, he'll be here at 11. He's coming from London to do it. His name is Chris Purdy. He's got a pretty interesting record.
What else has he done?
I don't know. Type his name, Purdy, Purdie. He's done a few interesting things, and so he's flying over. We're flying him over. We can't pay him, but we said we can put you up, we can feed you, and we'll fly you over. That should be our investment. So we're going to be filming all weekend, except I'm going to be out by 6 because I'm going to get my ass in the seat to watch the fight by 6:30. So, but everybody else will be there. You know, it's not a Eugene Robinson video; it's an Oxbow video. So. But it's our first one ever, man. We finally come into the 2016.
That's big, man. That's a big step. I hadn't heard anything about Oxbow for a while, and then I saw.
We've been slaving away. The new record, Thin Black Duke, is going to be on Hydra Head, and there'll be tons of shows and a package tour with some fucking interesting bands. Not the bands I was photographed with the other day. Not Dillinger Escape Plan or Faith No More. Heaven forbid we should tour with a band that can draw over 10,000 people.
Did you say Faith No More?
Yeah, there's a picture of me, and what was great is my old lady is like there the whole night. We're hanging out, and then as we're getting away, as we're driving away in the car, I go, man, I really want to dislike Mike Patton, but he's always super nice to me, so I really like the guy now. She goes, what are you talking about? I go, Mike Patton. She goes, Mike Patton? I go, Mike Patton. She goes, hold on, that was Mike Patton? I go, yeah, it's Mike Patton. He goes, it didn't look like Mike Patton. It looked like some old bum. I go, look at Mike Patton.
He's got to be getting old now, though, right? How old is he now?
He's what, 48? Yeah, he looked like an old bum. She just didn't expect. There's context for her. You didn't expect it.
No, I like Patton. I'm a big Patton fan.
When he lambasted the Red Hot Chili Peppers on stage, which almost led to a fist fight with the Chili Peppers, he won me over. Where they all dressed up. He dressed up like Ketis, and he was like, and then they mimicked the death of the drummer with the heroin overdose, which was fucking hardcore.
Yeah, that's a
and I go, okay, hats off to fucking Mike Patton, man. So
yeah, it wasn't really good shit, but I don't know why I really started to like Patton when he did that stint with Dillinger Escape Plan for a while.
Yeah, that's
I don't remember what that disc was called, but
yep.
All right, where are we at? Earth? What are we?
No, not Magnum.
It's good to see your memory is like on par with mine. All right, I have remember my computer has generated a list. Up next, Raquel Pennington versus.
No. Who was right before then? We didn't make a pick.
Avila and Lobov. Do we make picks for everyone?
No. There was a reason I cared about Lobov, but not enough to carry me to a care on this one. Sorry, I'm going to be stingy with the cares.
Do we only throw out picks if we care, or one of us cares, or both of us cares?
If you want to pick, you can pick, but I don't feel compelled to pick on a don't care.
Neither do I, my friend.
All right.
So Raquel Pennington versus Elizabeth Phillips. Is Elizabeth Phillips 0-0 too?
Yeah, I'm sorry, don't care. There could be something exciting about it, right? When Holly Holmes started, she was 0-0, but this I don't care about.
Well, why is
I kind of wonder why Pennington is being punished.
Are these late replacements? You know, a Super Bowl of MMA and two different fighters fighting professionally for the very first time on this pay-per-view card.
Could be their hot shit, man. This is something I don't know, but it's not enough to raise to a care for me. So.
Yeah, and I'm on the fence. I like Pennington, but as far as I guess put this into a microscope, Pennington versus Phillips. No, I'm good. No. Does nothing.
No, I mean, and the standard is if I have a brief moment to risk losing my seat on the couch by going to the kitchen for a glass of wine or something, do I do it during this fight? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, right.
So that's just...
with the time in between fights, especially for a pay-per-view, you would never have to do that during a fight. You know what I'm saying? It's like a half hour between some of the shit.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a curse because I don't even remember what the last card was, but there was a bunch of finishes and a bunch of knockouts, which is what everyone loves. But then it fucked the pacing up, man. The pacing was brutal after that.
Yeah, right.
There was 45 minutes left, and they had one fight left on the card. But I'm usually doing play-by-play, so as a fan, I used to bitch about that, but that's kind of nice for me.
So I'm not caring on this.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. Last fight on the Fox Sports 1's preliminary card, Cody Garbrandt versus Takeya Mizugaki.
Yep.
Word.
Big care. And I'm going to have to go with Mr. I should never, ever, ever do smack talk ever again, Cody.
Yeah, Garbrandt might be something special. You know, that label gets thrown on any fighter that might have, you know, if they give one little glint of maybe having some superstar talent, they'll throw it right on them. But I think Garbrandt, he might be legit. He might be like a special dude.
I really sort of enjoying. Somebody did a breakdown or analysis of Nate Diaz, and they kind of yanked the curtain back on the UFC's thinking about guys like Sage Northcutt. And it's like, you know, I can see them trying to package something nice and pretty and shiny for general public consumption. But they forgot for a second that they're more 209s than they're not 209s, you know. And I really like it's like that 50 Cent movie thing where he gets into it, bump shoulders with a guy at a party at his house, and the guy's like, "Oh, yo," and 50 Cent goes, "I guess you forgot where you were." You know, yeah, it's like, I guess fucking the bald one just forgot where he was. You know, it's like, man, do any MMA fans, like legit, even casual ones, and I hate saying this because he seems like a nice kid, but are they really like, man, Sage, that guy, oh, he's so cute. Fuck out.
Yeah, I would say a lot of them say that shit. Otherwise, I can't explain it. Well, I mean, how else can you explain it? Yeah. Because he came into the UFC and he looked really good, but he never fought any A-level, anything close to A-level competition. Yep. But he performed well that first fight, even though that's kind of a misnomer though. Everyone says, well, if he gets a win in the UFC, that's the big leagues. But the big leagues is having fighters have their first pro fight ever on it. So that's kind of a
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Contrasts, all that shit.
But anyway, hold on. Are you gonna pick somebody other than Cody? You gonna pick the other guy?
No, I like Mizugaki, but that's gonna be a good scrap. That's gonna be a really good scrap, actually. But I would lean Garbrandt. He's got more power. Mizugaki is quick as shit, scrappy as hell. He's getting old though, right? Mizugaki.
Yeah.
Or is he still? He's 30 something, maybe.
He's younger than me.
Either way, he deserves a lot of credit. I would always say the toughest thing in MMA is consistency. You know, we've had fighters have one big or a little run, but Mizugaki's been a top bantamweight for most of his career ever since he fought Faber in the WEC. So much respect to him.
Somebody said something interesting. They said, "How come people they don't get bent out of shape when a fighter over 40 necessarily gets popped for PEDs?" When the yoked up, ripped up guy who's 22 gets popped, everybody's outraged.
Yeah, well, it's the same way that people judge how a fight's going to go. They hold their predictions to see how the dude looks at the weigh-in. That one always kind of tripped me out. It's like,
yeah. That's great. So, anyway, okay, so now we deviate. We deviate once so far on a card. We've made 3 picks. We deviate once so far. So here we go. Now we're getting into deep water.
I forgot what. Oh, Larkin and Magny, right?
Yeah, that was our one DVD.
All right, yeah, and I'm good with that one. I'll stick with that one. All right, first fight of the pay-per-view: Sabah Homasi versus Tim Means. Tim Means earns a care for me. I don't give a fuck. Elbows, he's nasty. I'll always get up for a Tim Means fight.
Okay. Okay. All right, I'm easily swayed. No, I'm swayed.
Yeah, I was real persuasive with that, wasn't I? Fuck it, Tim Means throws.
No, but you mentioned elbows, and you know, so I'm thinking about EJJ and my penchant for elbows and eye sockets and you know, the dirty. And I was like, okay.
I don't even think I finished it, but I was, you know, you go through many crusades as a writer, rules, like the rules thing, which that's something, this new thing, it would never work for today, but I'd like to bullshit with you about that a little bit. But I think I was going to do a series. I only wrote one saying that standing Muay Thai type elbows in MMA were the most underutilized weapon ever. Actually, and that was years ago. I still think they are. And we're seeing a lot of good shit, a lot more up elbows, a lot more in this like traditional Thai shit. And Means is just brutal.
You have to create a situation where guys say enough of that and they want to get to the ground, you know, instead of. But I think it's because it's the same reason that Holly lost to the Chaiko. You know, it's like Kid Nate put his finger on it. He goes, kickboxer versus Muay Thai stylist. Come on, man. Those fucking elbows hurt.
Her angles were all tight. You know, Holly's better. She covers more ground, but when it comes down to it, you can cover all these angles and all this ground, but you know, there's an epicenter. Your opponent is right there.
Yep.
And Shevchenko had this like small little radius of just nasty tight pivots, and she was fast, man. Her counters were really accurate and fast. That was actually a really enjoyable fight to watch. But then again, so that's one of those, I don't want to be convenient, but if you think about it, Holm has looked disappointing to average in every UFC fight except for Ronda Rousey.
Yep.
And that was like I mean, you can't even say the greatest performance. Nothing. She's never even come to anything close to that.
But, and it's also, you know, she showed up, right? So the question with Holm, it's not, so in my mind, not skill set at all. The question is, does she have the emotional wherewithal to get to that space where she's excited again, thinking about winning versus just not losing?
Right.
That I don't know.
And that's a real struggle, what you just mentioned, for a fighter, depending on their career trajectory, especially in the UFC on a big stage. You know, it's too bad because Holly kind of came in, looked normal, and kind of, you know, blew her wad all at once with the Rousey thing. And now she's, 4 or 5 fights in, and everyone's wondering, does she have the strength to come back and compete? So that can
be she, you know, I don't know what kind of truck they backed up for her, but she doesn't have too many more chances. 2 at the most. At the most.
Yeah, I'd agree. How old is Holly Holm?
And she's in her 30s, right?
Is she? Yeah, so 2 I would agree with that. All right, so okay, so next one, Hyun.
So what Pickerton means?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, do you have something else you want to say about means?
No, that's it. I'm making notes. So.
All right, so up next, Hyun Gyu Lim, and that's one right off the bat. Yeah, I'll probably care because of that. But so what I show here is versus Mike Perry. 0-0. Owen fucking, is that right?
Yeah, you know, critics follow stars today. I want to care because of Lim, but they're just making it hard, you know. I mean, I got to think that this is the 3rd one on the fight that's like that there's got to be some sort of method to the madness, and maybe we could reasonably expect something cool, but I'm not going to take a gamble on that. You know? I'm going to have to split the difference. I'm going to have to say I don't care, man. I took a flyer on the means thing because it was means, but I'm not going to go 2 in a row that way. No way.
All right, so I switched over to SureDog, which is where I should have been in the first place. The first one I recognized I said was 0-0 before was Elizabeth Phillips. SureDog has her at 5-3.
I still don't care.
Who did I just? Who are we talking about? What fight did I just list off?
It's the one right after means. So it's Hungun Lim and some guy whose name I've not heard before.
So all right, earlier before Mike Perry, the website I was watching or I was looking at, SureDog has him as 6-0, and there's some shit on here. Maybe I'm looking at so there's a Guangyao Ning versus Marlon Vera. SureDog listed, but the other
don't care anyway.
What the fuck? And it doesn't even list this Hongyu Lim fight. So is that still happening?
Jesus Christ! Let's.
You're the see. It's a sad situation because you're the one that needs to know this shit right now. You know that? That's.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm writing stuff down, but you know, SureDog is a record of notes. So let's just go with that. Because I was not like I was going to care about Lim anyway, unless we were going to give him more.
All right. Well, weird. It's not on SureDog, but I just Googled it and. So I don't know. We could be very far astray from the truth, which really isn't a huge jump for us.
Doesn't matter. Who's he fighting that's of interest? Nobody. So let's go.
Donald Cerrone versus Rick Story. These last 3 are going to be kind of.
Who's it cares?
Yeah, man. I don't know how you can't. Teixeira Johnson and then the main event.
I'm going to have to go with Cerrone, man. I just can't. I think it would be foolhardy. And Rick Story's got a lot of power in the pocket, but you know, I have memories of both of them being beaten, and I have to say that Story looked worse at his worst moments than Cerrone looked bad at his worst moments. You know?
What Story fight are you thinking of, Maya?
Yes, squeeze his head like a tomato.
Yeah, but Maya's an anomaly, especially when it comes to back takes. Yeah. I might go Story here.
Okay.
Partially just to be a dick or. Contrary.
No, we need action, man. This is all right.
I'll go with that because I actually think that's going to be a tough matchup for Cerrone. That's going to be a good scrap, though.
All right, good.
That'll be interesting how that turns out.
All
Teixeira versus AJ, Anthony Johnson,
right.
Teixeira.
This is a weird one, right? Because on the one hand, we know what's best for the division, right?
Yeah.
What's best for the division would be a Teixeira win so that DC could go up against a guy who he hasn't fought before, who is an honest to God danger, and then while away the time before the next 6 feet out. It looks like Johnny Boney Joni has been freed from wherever self-inflicted hell he was in. Don't know if there's no suspension at all, not even a few months, and there was a terrible mistake. I know DC is making claims. I'm going to fight the winner of this fight, but depending on how that fight goes, that could be of lesser interest, and they're not going to spend the money DC wants to have him fight some guy that nobody gives a shit about. Specifically, if AJ wins again.
So is the deal with Jones uncertain? I thought he was definitely suspended for the doping violation.
No, it turns out, Malky came. I don't know if you saw the interview where Malky came and said something pretty compelling. He goes, "The shit we're buying from GNC. We 100% believe we're going to be exonerated because you can go into any GNC anywhere in America and grab 5 of these same things. I think you'll find exactly what was in it. And if the bald one came out like he did yesterday and said, looks like Jones is in the clear, what's left?
Oh, all right. So I didn't hear any of that. No.
I got a link. Somebody texted me a link. It came under the headline "From the Horse's Mouth." So.
But the GNC comment, isn't that kind of like antiquated? Like I wouldn't, because like Maria Sharapova said the same thing. I was just buying. Isn't it if you're taking any kind of supplement, you got to get that shit cleared first?
Maybe, but the quote that I heard, and I can't remember who it was attributed to. You can't suspend somebody for a drug, for taking a drug that they weren't supposed to take if they weren't told they weren't supposed to take it. So I was like, is that you?
Oh, that was you. That wasn't me. That wasn't you?
No, it wasn't me. It's game time. Are you ready? I don't
nice.
know.
Just random theme music.
Yeah. So anyway, it looks to me pretty much like these are not things you say if you're trying to bullshit and equivocate your way. Unless you're Bill Clinton, you don't come out and I 100% deny. That's a high flying maneuver, and I don't think those guys were such high flyers. I think they thought that they had reasonable cover. It looks like the reasonable cover was borne out. So DC could actually fight the winner of this fight. The Baldwin could say, look, our payroll for fucking 206, 205, we gotta, he's ready. Why not? How much time do you have left?
All right,
so if that's the case, so I'm just talking about seats on the Titanic. If that's the case, if for sure DC is fighting Jones again, and we can trust Jones not to fuck up, which I'm thinking pretty good this time, he will not fuck up going to the next one. Rumble wins it. That's if I'm like, Wizard of Ozing it from the background. If I need to cover somebody for some distance, then I have Teixeira win, so I can Teixeira against DC. DC pulls it out, and then if the suspension goes 8 months or whatever, then I can put Jones in. But it looks like he's not going to be suspended at all. So then I say, then leave the fight alone. And if that's the case, I'm still going to go with Teixeira because I just can't. I'm down on AJ since he was here in San Jose for deeply personal.
I'm thinking about this matchup right now, and it's pretty intriguing. I'm not really sure how this is going to go. So AJ, do you know how much height and reach he'll have on Glover?
That I don't know.
He'll be quicker on the release. Teixeira's. I think his wrestling is the most underrated, but I think his jiu-jitsu game is still really underrated.
Yep.
Like I think a lot of people, casual or not, because he's got so many knockouts, think he's just a striker. But so I would always consider him a jiu-jitsu striker. But I've actually been really surprised with his wrestling chops for a dude who's as well-rounded as him to also be able to wrestle at the level he does. I think is impressive.
And look at his team, man. He's not training with bums, you know.
Right.
I'm not saying that Johnson's training with bums, but you know, Hackelman, Liddell, those SLO guys that Teixeira had been hanging with for a period of time. These are serious fucking people. No joke.
Right. Hackelman's a genius, man. He does not get the credit he deserves.
Yep.
Pretty much invented sprawl and brawl, or designed what we know in MMA today as sprawl and brawl, I'd say.
Yep.
So what's your pick? What's your pick?
Well, man, I can't pick the guy. I just can't pick domestic abusers, man. I don't know.
Well,
alleged.
Like I'm going to pick Johnson after that. Well, as a matter of fact, I have, you know. But I think I'm going to go with Teixeira anyways.
Okay.
And that was a sweet handoff, though. You know, I can't pick women abuser. Dallas, who's your pick? Well, all right, no, but I'll take Teixeira in that one too. All right. So before we get into the main event, who'd you pick last time? And of course, I'm asking that because I picked Diaz by sub.
I picked Diaz.
To me, I was actually surprised McGregor did as well as he did in the first round before.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was going to be a blowout, but to me, that was one where the hype machine got to everybody. If you take away, and I know that doesn't make any sense, but McGregor's win over Aldo, because there's no question about it, that legitimized him, that made him. But I think it kind of went too far. So then you got a dude, and then again, go back and watch a couple fights before the UFC where, who was that choked? Was that Felder? Someone took him down and choked him out quickly, mounted him. Duffy, my bad. So, McGregor's awesome. He's marketable. He's a scrapper. He's talented. But come on, man. Nate Diaz, not only is he a natural welter, but he's a long gangly, even for a welterweight, and he's got a unique skill set. Yep. Very well-rounded, and he's tough as shit. You know, he'll let shit bounce off his chin all night long. Yep. That's about as close as you can get in that first round. And I wouldn't like to see anything like that, but I expect a different first round. I expect this to go a little bit longer, but Diaz brothers, I would put right up with the Nogueira brothers. I mean, that's about as good as it gets in MMA on the ground right now. Sweeps, subs, escapes, whatever.
I'm thinking also, I've been paying attention, thinking, and I've come to the conclusion that based on what happened last time, that McGregor is not going to come out with the bull rush, that he's actually going to come out and try to fight a 5-round fight like it's a 5-round fight, which is actually to his detriment.
You might be right. I think either way, it's not a good outlook, but I definitely agree. And I don't know why I always call that jousting. You know, there's the outlook where you want to come out and just impose your will and, pretty much just rape the dude.
No, and I think he's shaken to his core. And you think of the time that he's been legitimately the only time that I've seen Nate legitimately lose, and by which I mean not a split decision, a unanimous decision.
Josh Thompson.
And if you remember that, he was like, I think Thompson faked a shot, and Nate bent like this, so he was going down, and Thompson rocked back with a kick that met a Nate coming down, right? So it's like that's the only chink in the armor that I've seen, and I don't think that given the height differential, the thing is, I met the Diaz's, the Sebing, the Siamad, they're fucking tall. They're like tall.
In gangly.
Yeah.
Reach, I don't want to say emphasize, but reach matters in a fight, man, especially when you know how to use it. And with the Diaz brothers, that length on the feet is obvious, but when they're in contact range or grappling, that transmits to leverage, and you know what I mean? They can snake those limbs around you, and with their technique on the ground, that makes a big difference, man.
Well, let's try to look at this analytically, though, right? So I believe that probably that Conor could take Nate down, right? Those guys their wrestling is not super strong, but it's not super strong because the jiu-jitsu is so strong, right? So it's so a way out for McG would be take him down, bit, score points, get up, get out. Extricating yourself from the tar baby that is a fucking black belt in jiu-jitsu, fucking not maybe that easy, and a dangerous road to take, especially if you're just trying to rack up points and eke out a decision, which is not going to happen. So
No, but you nailed it though, because as soon as you said that, my comment was going to be, and I believe the differential in skill is way bigger on the ground. I think Nate owns him on the ground, but if he was smart, he'd take him down, keep his posture, never let Nate close his guard, throw a few punches. Really doesn't matter if they land, because in MMA, if you take someone down and do anything, you're looked upon favorably scoring wise, and then get the fuck out is, after a short amount of time, or I wouldn't even wait for that. I was going to say the slightest hint of danger. If I were him, I wouldn't even wait for that. I'd get back out. And then actually, if he can repeat that, that's a smart strategy. Even if it's not doing shit. And I personally don't think that should score a lot. If a guy takes someone down, the guy gets right back up. It's the definition of like neutralizing. But that's the way MMA is. I think that's McGregor's best chance, actually.
Yeah.
Not to just let it all ride on the feet.
And that would be fine if you were also going to deal with a guy who wasn't going to get his Irish up by hitting him, and he's like, oh, okay, you hit me, I got to hit your back, and then you're in a world of slaps.
Yeah, that's it, dude. That's analytical.
Do you remember that SCTV character where John Candy played like a fantasy island guy, like a Mr. Rourke, and his big thing was to deliver multiple slaps, and so they sped it up like Benny Hill, and he'd be like,
No.
Man.
I thought I've seen most of John Candy's stuff.
Yeah, I will give you multiple slaps. It's very funny. I'll see if I can find the link.
Wait, that's not the one where he's a detective and he goes and he wears, I can't remember the name of that one.
No, that's Polynesia Town. No,
it was, it's a little more mainstream than that. 80s.
No, I'm talking the TV show. Actually, SCTV.
Oh, no, then. No,
sure, so this is multiple. He was wearing a white suit. His name is Mr. Rourke or somehow, and they tried to remake Casablanca, some Johnny LaRue drama. But anyway, yeah, you're in a world of slaps. So, I mean, I keep trying to, and people are gonna accuse me of being, because Diaz is a known associate. I had Nick on the show, not Nate. They're gonna accuse me of being a nut jumper, but I'm gonna have to say, when I back off a bit and start to analyze, roads to success for Conor McGee, the only road that I can think of is the one we just talked about, and that road called luck. and that's not a lot to make a bet on. I can't build a career as a gambling tout on luck and the possibility of frequent takedowns and patty cake on the bottom and not getting caught.
Well, to be fair, I think we should acknowledge what McGregor was doing before. I mean, there's a chance, just because it happened before, there's a chance that he could add a little more venom. I don't really see that happening, but I mean, it's possible. But either way, so you're going Diaz, right?
Yeah, I'm going Diaz. I think the thing is, if Diaz loses, I'll be like, well, goddamn, that was a big surprise. Somebody said, all I want is if Diaz loses, for you not to go screaming collusion, conspiracy, because then these guys get another $5 million fight out of it, and that's effectively a trilogy. I said I don't think the Baldwin is going to entertain a trilogy, no matter which way this fight goes.
Really?
I really don't, unless it's a super competitive fight. I don't see him going for a trilogy because he's got two monsters on his hands, and what he has to do with monsters is separate them and then kill them separately. He doesn't want to have to give any one of these guys what he has to pay them for this fight at all. And then somebody sent me the seating chart from 202. Have you seen this yet?
No.
I don't know how many days back the seating chart was. Let's see. But let's see if I can blow it up for you.
Homie's got connections. You got the seating chart for UFC 202.
So this is a seating chart so far. I don't know if you can see. All you can see is, there's not a lot of color filled in.
Oh, like from StubHub or whatever you're saying. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I thought you had like some kind of official.
Maybe I do.
Mm-hmm. Since we agree on that, though, I'll, I guess, just to throw in one disagreement. If McGregor wins trilogy, that's money. I'll say it'll happen. No questions asked. Blowout, whatever.
Yeah. So that would mean that the Baldwin was being nice, and he's like, well, I want him to get back down and fight, defend his belt. Maybe he's just kind of creating a nice, comfortable slide for dude other than WWE.
I think it's money. And like they try to over market and like add false excitement to certain things. And this is one of those ones that I think is legit. I do think this is a superstar fight. And I think that flat out. You can market the hell out of it. You can make a lot of money out of it. And this is one where, yeah, I'm into it. I think it's worthy of all the hype and all the praise.
Yeah, I guess, again, it depends on how it goes, you know. And, of course, because you have lunatics like me seeding the clouds with the possibility of some weird collusion, it's got to be a straight up. And I don't believe. I really, honestly, like I've said on Knuckle Up, I don't believe that to be. I just, you know, you could get to anybody, but I think that the Diaz issue, it just, they don't trust it. They don't trust the UFC enough to be able to play ball in that way. And I think they've made enough money to live comfortably in Stockton for the rest of their lives, which it seems like they want to do. So why play ball? You know, in other words, I'm saying if McGregor pulls out a win, it's probably, unless there's something really stinky about it, it'll probably feel legitimate to me. Unless and stinky could be a lot of things. Stinky could be a premature stopping. Stinky could be a Patrick Cote knee buckle. You know,
any unconventional victory or any anomaly, and those are
any kind of anomaly will be looked on as with a fucking gimlet eye. I'm not going for it, but in general, yeah. In general, if it's a legit fight and it's close and competitive and interesting, a trilogy would make sense. But anything short of that, I see him saying, "Fuck this, fuck you guys. Go back and defend your belt," and this will allow him to effectively ice Nate again. Because Nate has gone on record saying, "I'm only fighting money fights, exciting fights," and I guarantee you that rubs the balls one the wrong way. You fight who I tell you to fight. I tell you what the money fights are, and Nate's like, "Fuck that! I'm not going back to 2020s, man. I'm not doing it." You know?
Well, so that's interesting because I thought Dana would actually like that. That would be a good soldier for him, like Nate. Maybe don't worry about you got to get so many wins to be, you know, authenticated as a contender or whatever. Just, hey, whatever people want to see, whatever's going to sell, I'll throw you in those fights.
Yeah, but you're missing the one. You're missing the one. I miss it all the time too. But I tell you, there's a guy in Poland, right? He's got a construction company, and one of his employees says, "Hey, you know, 3 weeks you haven't paid me." And the guy goes, "Oh yeah, hey, listen, let's haul some lumber out to this job site, and then we'll stop by the bank and I'll give you some money." And they go, "Cool." And so they're hauling this lumber out to the job site, which apparently is deep in the woods. He's looking around. He goes, "What kind of fucking job site is this? I don't remember this." The boss jumps out, starts hacking at him with an axe.
I saw that coming, actually.
Yeah, good for you. He leaves him there. The guy crawls back to the road and is rescued by a passerby. Immediately pegs his boss. They arrest the boss and go, "What the fuck?" He goes, "Hey, man, I owed the guy 175 zloty. I don't want to pay." And they're like, "Great, prison." You know? I mean, I don't think you can underestimate the degree to which the bald one does not want to write big checks. Does not.
But, I mean, there's a relation there, though, right? He's got to write a big check to bring in big money to make big fights.
You and I think that way, you know? I mean, you show me one guy that they paid big money to who has not shit the bed with them some way, shape, or form.
No, and I'm still pissed off about that. Like before, yeah, I thought maybe when Vanderlei Silva piped up, but then George St. Pierre, most likable dude ever, champion, legit in every way, he finally throws up the flag with the UFC, and people, I thought, wow, this will finally, you know, this will make an impression. People won't love the UFC and just eat whatever but no one fucking remembers GSP now. He's gone.
Yep.
You know? I know I've seen him a little bit in the headlines. He might be coming back, but the fact you can have a champion on a roll, marketable, likable, talented, and he can raise the flag and say, "I'm not comfortable anymore competing for this company." But it didn't fucking matter. People didn't give a shit. All right, see you, GSP. Hendricks, we like him now. So
yeah,
nothing's going to do it.
And look at the guys who have favorable long-term relationships. Donald, I don't know what money is. Cerrone. Fuck, man. You know, I mean, the guy from Microsoft said it best. He got in trouble for pedigreeing it by saying, "Oh, if you're a woman engineer, your best way to get a raise is to not ask for a raise." But realistically, you know that's a fucking truth. Look, I've been a boss several times, but being a boss and being management are very different things. As a boss, my number one concern in magazines, I lived in mortal terror of people who worked for me saying, "Eugene, can I talk to you for a minute?" because I thought they were gonna quit. I was like, God, I gotta make another staff. I don't want to spend all my time doing staffing. I want to write. I want to do the magazine shit. So they had me with the short hairs because I thought they're gonna fucking quit. Management, their number one concern is having to write a check bigger than they have to write. Nobody wants to fucking. They don't absolutely positively. And the fact that you can't think of anybody who they're writing big checks to, who the relationship hasn't gotten queered, says a lot and means a lot, you know.
Well, and the hardest thing is that if they can get that much mileage out of Sage Northcutt, and I don't mean to discredit or disrespect the dude because it ain't his fault. He's just doing his thing.
He's just a kid.
They can pick someone and say, all right, we lost this mainstay, but look, here's this young up-and-comer. I mean, and it'll work. You know, people, that's where the focus will go. So, whatever.
Yep, I agree.
And I don't hate the UFC, but man,
I can make you and I can break you.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and you'd think that attitude wouldn't last long, but it is. They've propagated it and sustained it for quite a while now.
Yep.
And I don't know, it's a monopoly. I know maybe it doesn't fit the legal definition, but and what the hell happened to Bellator? I don't know if everyone know. I was working for Bellator for a while. I was really high on it when Coker came in. He brought his whole new staff in. Believe me, that was the best way for me to lose that job because I was so excited about Coker coming in. I thought, man, the reason he's coming in, he's legit, he's established, he's got experience. I understand he wants to bring his own team in. And it's not sour grapes. I hope it doesn't. I can see how it might come off that way because I was let go. No bad vibes at all. But, man, they have just taken a shit since then. I mean, no consistency. I understand they wanted to get away from the weekly shows, but at least then they had a presence. Yeah. And now it's like they just slowly faded away. I wouldn't even consider them a player anymore.
Well, no, and I think you're right. But I think they had a couple of unexpected knocks. But if your process is thin, unexpected knocks are gonna fucking hurt you, man. You know.
Yeah.
Kimbo. Now you're bringing back Kimbo Slice Jr., Little Slice. You have to do better than that, baby. Better than that.
A little too much novelty. And what you just mentioned to me is the most underrated, whatever, overlooked aspect of anyone competing with the UFC. When we see how often fighters have to pull out for whatever reason, doesn't matter, drug tests, injuries, whatever, couldn't make weight. I guess that ain't one. But the UFC has a large pool on short notice. They can put someone in there that's legit. If a place like Bellator, if they lose one of their key fighters, man, they're lucky to get a replacement. And if they do, it's, they're going to take a big hit some way.
Having a deep bench makes a difference. Okay, do you have a pick? We've been talking about it.
Diaz by sub. Diaz by sub. Diaz by sub.
Okay. All right, good. Got Diaz. So we're close.
You're really writing this shit down, aren't you? I'm very impressed.
Man, because I like being right. So,
yeah.
Well, hey, writing it down and remembering where the sheet is that I wrote down, two different things.
I do that all the time. I think I got to get more organized. And all right, I'm going to make this little file. I'm going to keep all my important bills in there. And then I need a bill. I'm like, where the fuck did I put that file with all my bills in?
I do that with all my homemade porn.
That's one thing.
Sorry.
That was a bad joke, but.
I'm not joking.
Where did
I put that DVD of me in the? No. I'm joking. No, I'm not. Anyway, all right. So that's the show.
Yeah, man.
What happened to fucking the Wookiee? What's going on?
I think he left me. He finally just realized I wasn't. I had no future. I wasn't sensitive enough. I think he just moved on. It's hard to blame him.
Yeah, well, I guess you left him behind your house before you went to Abu Ghraib, because that's where it looks like you are now.
Yeah, well, actually, it was worse. So every time I always do this Michigan, the weather sucks here all the time, man. Everyone says the summers are nice. Dude, this summer's been brutal, like 98 degrees. Yeah. And now all of a sudden it's the middle of the day here, but it was so damn dark. There must be a thunderstorm coming on, so.
And then there'll be floods and inevitable deaths. But
Actually, I'm not shitting. Flash flood warning just a couple days ago. So.
Really?
Yeah, man. This place sucks. Yeah.
Okay.
We got around to Markos.
Thank you for filling in with Nate.
My pleasure, man.
So then, what happens now? You have the stop broadcast button, right?
That's the one thing I do have. I hope that's my final responsibility as far as today goes.
I think so. I guess you have to ping Zane so he puts it up. I guess.
Oh, is that how it works? See, Nate just said show up.
Nah, I think you just let Zane
cool.
let Zane know and he'll put it up or send him the link or something.
Oh, all right, cool. That's good news.
If people want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
They don't, man. I'm isolated. I don't know. I'm on Twitter at Uncle Justice, but I just show up when I'm doing live play-by-plays for either Bellator or UFC. But
and I'm at Eugene S. Robinson, but you got to send it. I got to approve you because I want to know who's at the party. I'm trying to do the Kid Nate thing. Go to MMA Nation YouTube. If you like the show, give us a 2 thumbs up. The Eugene Robinson thumbs up. Hey, man, I'm confused. I never could figure out index finger.
Same thing. Same thing.
So, thanks for listening.
You gonna let me write for Ozzy still?
You got pictures for me? I'm in I got to turn in 25 story ideas by Friday. You got something? I need something.
You guest vocals? You need some Rollins stuff just in the background. I'll like say some evil.
No, we finished the record, man. We finished mixing, finished mastering.
I'm just fishing.
You SOL to the next record. No, I'm open to anything. You know.
All right, man. You're good.
So anyway, all right, hit the stop broadcast button.
All right. It is good to see you, though, homie. Take care of yourself.
Later.